So Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. This is Krishna Dasa. Welcome to today's session of Bhakti Sutra. Today we are going to start from Shloka number 38. So before we start, I'll just say the prayer to Guru. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chaksurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva.
Can I say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You have to forgive me for some slight time I'm taking, because these days I sometimes jump directly from my work to the session, and I need to set up a few things, like my document is somewhere else, my recording is somewhere else.
Can understand, Vinayak.
No, thank you. I still try. I try very hard to make everything ready as in advance as possible, but still sometimes, Krishna will keep testing. He wants to see if I get angry, if I get irritated. I have to be calm. Siddha Pragya.
We are talking about the Prakriti, the Prakriti is making you like this.
So who remembers what was the last sloka we finished? Yes, Simranji?
We should remember Lord by singing and kirtans.
What was the number?
37. 37.
We have to do it.
Perfect.
No,
I
we
think
have done 37.
No, 38, because it's 38, we have to do it.
correct.
37.
Renunciation in action.
Excellent. So we both are aligned, because I have 38 in front of me. I just wanted to make sure we are all aligned. Okay, let's start. Okay, we'll start with 38 now. Mukhyataḥ-tu mahat-kṛpayaiva bhagavat-kṛpāleśād-vā. It means the primary way to obtain the pure devotion is either through the grace of great souls or with a small amount of divine grace. Narad Ji says that this pure bhakti or divine love, it can be achieved primarily through the grace of the Guru. And once we have received that, after that, you only need a very tiny bit of grace from the divine God. And then the magic happens. Now, it's natural to ask, we can ask this question, if we are anyways going to get the grace of God, why do we need Guru? It's a very common question. Now, there are many answers to that. One of the most practical answers is, we are all in the material world. We know that even in the material world, even for material success, we have needed guidance. We have needed mentors, we have needed teachers. Correct? Now, spiritual success is so much more rare. So much more rare. Like, you will find like 1 billion graduates and postgraduates, but how many enlightened souls do we find? So spiritual success is so much more rare. So how do we assume that we don't need guidance or a guru? So logically that makes sense. That is why Narad Ji is saying first the guru is important. Chaitanya Charitamrita, I keep telling you, is one of the nectars of devotional writing. God willing, someday we may read that also. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya has said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Latha Bija. Wandering through the universe, some fortunate soul, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, receives the seed of devotional creeper. Such a picturesque speech. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, only through the mercy of the Guru, followed by the mercy of Krishna, you receive the seed of devotion and begin your spiritual journey. So Lord Chaitanya is equating divine love or bhakti, the Siddha Bhakti, basically the bhakti that leads to Siddha Bhakti. He is equating that to a creeper. You know what a creeper is, right? Those plants that keep climbing up. But when does the creeper start growing and climbing? Once the seed is sprouting. After the seed sprouts, then the creeper takes off. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is equating, he is saying the seed itself is coming from the Guru. And then with the divine grace of God, it sprouts and starts growing. That is the equation he is giving. One of the reasons why Guru is considered important is that we first need to have the right knowledge. You remember, we have spent, Narad Ji has spent many verses talking about the importance of knowledge and how knowledge helps us be on the right path and grow on the right path. And Guru is supposed to open our eyes to that knowledge. Angyanate mirandasya jnananjana shalakaya. And as we discussed even in Bhagavad Gita, there is a process we need to follow in order to succeed in Bhakti Yoga and receive the grace of God. Now, we discussed many times that we cannot expect success unless we have followed the process. The entire Bhagavad Gita was about the process. What the process is that we have to follow. Narad Bhakti Sutra refines it even more and focuses it, razor focus on bhakti. Bhagavad Gita had focus on jnana, it had focus on dharma, it had focus on many different aspects. Whereas Krishna wanted to explain everything there is, and Krishna also gave a conclusion that out of all this, bhakti is the right way to go. Narad Ji takes it from there and he's now focusing. He's expecting that we have all studied the Bhagavad Gita, we all understood the importance of bhakti, and then now he's drilling down on bhakti here. And so, Bhakti Yoga, for success in Bhakti Yoga, we have to follow the process. There are so many aspects of the process we discussed. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, humility, lack of pride. Like that here, they are saying that the right knowledge comes from the Guru, and that is where the process happens. And that is why we need that before we can expect the grace of God. Even in the current context, there are thousands of scriptures and shlokas and mantras. Like, you go Google, you'll be like overwhelmed. What to look, where to look. Even Bhagavad Gita, go and do a search on Bhagavad Gita. You will find like 1,000 different interpretations, variations, texts. Now, in this context, you need a teacher who can at least understand your strengths, weaknesses, understand your thought process, and take the relevant knowledge and impart it to you. And with that knowledge, you will be able to go ahead and take part in the process required to get divine knowledge. Similarly, in Ramcharitamanas, it is written, Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidra na bhava. Only the pure-hearted ones can attain me. Anyone indulging in fraudulent acts and deception can never attain my grace. God is telling this. So first we need a guru to help understand all this. The guru has to tell you. Otherwise, all our lives we can keep searching for God and not find him anywhere. And the guru also can help us understand how to purify our hearts and avoid corrupting our minds. For example, there was a very important lesson we learned in the previous Shlokas, which was the importance of consistency. Somebody has to tell you, somebody has to explain this. Why consistency is important. Otherwise, somebody says you have to chant the mantra. So I will say, okay, I'm going to take 3 days holidays. And in those 3 days, I'm going to chant 10,000 rounds. And then I'll forget about it for 1 month. For 1 month, I will just go regular life. Then after 1 or 2 months, I'll again take 1 week break. I'll again do 10,000, 15,000 chants. And I'll keep doing it for a few years. And then I will ask myself, why have I not made any progress? Who is going to tell you that is not going to work? These are the kind of important things that Narad Ji says has to come from a guru. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written, therefore, an inquisitive person seeking the highest good should take the shelter of a spiritual guru who is knowledgeable in the scriptures and the truth, and who is fixed in detachment from material affairs. Such a guru can help us receive the grace of God. And Sri Krishna also said in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he said in 4.34, he has said, learn the truth by approaching a spiritual guru. Inquire from the guru. That is where Krishna had said, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. This is where we discussed the difference between prashna and pariprashna. Where Krishna has advised us in chapter 4 that engage in such a seva to the guru and understand the knowledge through pariprashna. So Krishna has also emphasized the importance of a guru. The next shlokas coming from Narad Ji, they will provide answers to some questions, common questions like how do you navigate the tricky path of spiritual evolution without the help of others? Where can we find the necessary guidance? Is divine grace enough? Must we rely solely on our own efforts? There are so many such questions that come up. So Narad Ji is going to go and explain many of those aspects. Of course, certainly, self-effort is very important. Krishna has also emphasized, some of you may remember in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said that effort is important. You have to put in the effort. Purify yourself, get rid of your pride, do everything, and then put in the necessary effort, and the grace will come. The most important thing to keep in mind is we will get grace of God. As we said, grace of God is always there. It is there for everybody. It is available to everybody. There is no scarcity there. Each and every human being on the planet can get grace. There is more than that available. The only thing required is we have to be ready for that. We have to purify ourselves. We have to make ourselves ready to get that grace. That is what we are studying in the Bhakti Sutra primarily. What is that focused process to make us ready for that divine grace? Because we are all on the path. We are making progress. We just have to make sure that now that we are getting closer to our goal, let us become very ready for that. And that readiness comes by following the process with the help of a guru. This is what is the message here. So what are the things we discussed in this shloka? The process is important, guru is important, approaching the guru the right way is important, and having the faith that this process will lead to the ultimate Siddha Bhakti is also extremely important. Shall we go to the next shloka? Shloka 39. Mahat-kṛpayaiva
mahat-kṛpayaiva
durlabho gamyo mogascha. It means meeting a great soul is very hard, and understanding such a great soul is almost impossible. But the positive effect of such a meeting is guaranteed. Narad Ji is saying that although we receive divine grace with the help of a guru, it is first very difficult to meet a guru, come in contact with the guru. Second, even if you come in contact with the guru, it is very, very hard to understand the guru, because many times we may not even be able to recognize them as guru. Why? Because of our own impurities. This is the example, the famous example we took from Mahabharata, where Lord Sri Krishna is showing his Virat Roop, and Duryodhana is not even able to acknowledge. God is standing in front of you and showing his divine Roop, and still you cannot recognize. So it is not whether the guru is willing to teach or whether the guru is willing to be in front of you. It is whether you are able to perceive, recognize the guru. Just like once you do that, then the process starts and eventually you become ready to perceive God. That is the whole message here. See, there is a story of Gautam Buddha. Everybody knows who is Gautam Buddha. He had a cousin, his name was Ananda. It's a very popular story. Almost every Buddhist knows this story. So Ananda was Buddha's own cousin, and Buddha was asking him, why don't you join me? And Ananda says, so Ananda, this is a very interesting response. Ananda says, I will follow you, but I have 8 conditions you have to meet, and then I will follow you. So, but Buddha says, okay, what are those 8 conditions? And Ananda says, you should not give me the clothes received by you, you should not give me the food received by you, you should not sleep, or I should not be asked to sleep in the same chambers as you. Wherever you go to beg for food, you should not ask me to come with you. And if I refer somebody to you, you have to accept them. And you have to repeat all your discourse. If I'm not present and you teach something to somebody, whenever I come in front of you, then you will have to repeat that discourse. So like that, he gives like 8 different conditions. But then the Buddha, he is a kind-hearted, one of the most kind-hearted souls. So he smiles and he says, okay, I accept all your 8 conditions. And after that instance, Ananda became Buddha's personal assistant, attendant. But the story is a real story. The story is Ananda spends 25 years after that, very, very ardent follower of Buddha. He's always seen with Buddha. He's serving Buddha all the time. So Ananda is keeping his end of the bargain, because Buddha said he will take care of those 8 conditions. Ananda is keeping his promise also, and he serves Buddha. But the actual lesson comes when Buddha is ready to leave the body. So because Buddha is a great soul, Buddha consciously left his body. And he knew when he was going to leave the body, and Ananda knew that Buddha is ready to depart. Now, at that time, Ananda asks Buddha a very honest question. He says, I have been the closest to you. I have learnt so much from you, but still, why is it that I have not made spiritual progress as much as some of your other students who did not spend that much time with you? So Ananda is feeling it's not fair that he spent the most time with Buddha, but there are some students who spend lesser time, but spiritually they were advanced more. So then Buddha answers. Buddha says, that is because you could never see the Guru in me. You only saw the cousin in me. See, this is a very profound message. What the Guru teaches is one thing. How we receive it is what really makes a difference between how much we learn. For example, in a classroom, there are 50 students on an average. It's the same school, same age everybody has, it's the same subject, it is the same teacher. But does everybody have the same learning? That learning doesn't depend necessarily on how well the teacher teaches. That learning depends mostly on how well the student learns. Like just as a real life example, again, I'm not interested. There is no judgment here. It is just an example because you are all advanced students. There is one person in our Bhagavad Gita classes. I know that that person is going through a lot of issues in life. And I want to help. And I know that I can help. But it is not making an impact on that person. That person continues to be frustrated, angry, negative. Why? The primary reason is that person still looks at me like somewhat like a buddy. I'm happy to be a friend, but if whatever I say, if it has to solve your problem, you have to first acknowledge. So I was a little concerned about that person. I even told that person that I'm not asking you to bow down to me, but when you are asking for advice, doesn't matter if it is me or if it is somebody else. If you are seeking advice and if you want that advice to help you, then you have to receive it the right way. Only then it's going to help. So that is the message here. So it wasn't until Buddha passed away that Ananda realized his mistake. But the story, it has a happy ending. The happy ending is, once Ananda realized the mistake, in spite of Buddha having passed away, he approached his teachings in a different way altogether. He acknowledged the Guru in Buddha, and it is said that he went on to become one of the most prominent teachers of Buddhist philosophy after that. So he has written a lot of books, a lot of material. They are all associated with Ananda. The entire Dhammapada, it says, was written by him. And he went on to become a very elevated soul after he realized this paradigm shift. So just like that, even in the Bhagavad Gita, you may remember, initially, Arjuna was looking at Krishna only as a friend. He used to even call him Sakha. Of course, that's okay. I mean, God is everybody's friend. There is no problem in that. But once the Bhagavad Gita starts, if you have to really internalize the knowledge, then you have to receive it in a different way. And that is why in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, we see that there is a place where Arjuna says, I surrender Krishna. I'm confused. Now you have to guide me. That is when Krishna's philosophy actually starts. Till that point, it is only a debate. Arjuna will have ifs and buts, and Krishna will also have ifs and buts. Arjuna will ask a question, Krishna will give an answer. It could have gone on forever without really benefiting Arjuna in any way. So that is the lesson even in the Bhagavad Gita. That is why many saints have said that the aspiring students, they have to first focus on self-purification. Focus on self-purification. And then you remember in the previous shlokas we said, you have to have that longing, the yearning to have a teacher first. And when the yearning is strong enough, the teacher will appear. That's another law of the universe. What is the law of the universe? It is written in many places. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But the real tatparya behind that is, when the student is ready, the God makes the teacher appear. God wants everybody to have the right learning. God wants everybody to evolve. But it is our job to become ready first. And when we are ready, God makes sure that He will put the Guru in front of us. So the teaching by Narad Ji and other great saints is that basically, because God is putting a Guru in front of you, the idea is that Guru, while you are learning, during that time, the Guru is a manifestation of God's energy in that particular human form. That is the purpose. It is a tool. So what Narad Ji is saying is, once we understand this, and once such a true student meets a true teacher, then the transformation that takes place will be miraculous and it will be certain. Transformation will happen. It is not whether, if it will happen. It is just a question of when. That when depends on how focused we are, and how much purification we do, and how much we are able to handle our pride and ego. Even in school, I will tell you, I remember even when I was in my 7th standard, this is a very popular story in my friend circle, in school circle. So there was this one guy, Simran may know this person, I don't want to take the name, but this guy went on to become a deputy mayor of Pimpri Chinchwad, a very popular figure. But when he was in school, once the teacher was upset with him and she asked him to go kneel down. So he goes and kneels down, but then he's kneeling down and still making fun, making faces, making everybody laugh. The teacher is very angry. She goes and gives him 2 slaps. And he's so upset. He comes, he's very angry with the teacher. He picks up a bag and he says, I'm never going to come to school again. And he really didn't come after that. Of course, he had his own karmic accounts. He went on to do something else. But the point is, even at that tender age, he's not able to have the kind of humility that is required. So of course, he went on to get into a political profession. But the message is, the same set of students, the same teacher, the same environment, it's not going to result in the same transformation for everybody. It's not going to result in the same learning for everybody. But Narad Ji says, a big part of it depends on the student, how they approach that teacher. Ready for the next shloka? Shloka 40. Labhyatepi
Labhyateti
tat-kṛpāyaiva.
Tat-kṛpāyaiva.
Means it is only through the grace of God that we can attain the company of great souls. So Narad Ji just spoke about the importance of and the rarity of coming in touch with a great soul. And he spoke about the transformation that can happen. And now he's talking about that meeting with a great soul also happens only through a grace of God. So Narad Ji says, when that happens, the student has to have faith in the teacher and serve the Guru and follow the Guru's teachings. Follow the Guru's teachings is very important. And that will lead them to the stage where they will receive the divine grace of God. So Narad Ji says it is straightforward. You take care of a few important things. You have maintained purity, you maintain humility. Be consistent. Have the yearning that you should have a teacher from whom you can learn. And then God will make sure that you come in touch with the teacher. And he says, once that happens, then have faith in the teacher and serve the teacher. Serve the teacher basically means try to follow the teachings. And then the magic starts to happen and the process will take care of the result. And eventually you will get closer and achieve the grace of God. So that is how Narad Ji is laid down the steps. Now, Sant Kabir, do you know the story of Sant Kabir and why I'm actually very fond of Sant Kabir. I always keep quoting his doha whenever possible. It's not easy. It's only a very elevated soul who can convey profound messages in two lines. Normal people like me, we need like 1 page of lecture to convey something profound. But somebody like Sant Kabir, in 2 lines, they will be imparting a very profound message. The story is, I'll keep the story short. The story is, Kabir himself was not a normal child. He was born by the divine grace of some very elevated person. So it is said he didn't have a normal birth. He was just born out of energy. There are multiple stories. It doesn't matter which one we want to take, but all the different versions say the same thing, that he was a gifted child. It's not a normal child. And somewhat like Karna, he was born based on some divine grace because his mother wanted to experience a child. But then she became very worried that how is she going to bring him up and how is she going to answer to the society will not understand. And Kabir's mother was supposed to be a Brahmin, Hindu Brahmin. So she kind of abandons him, and then he is adopted by a Muslim couple. They were weavers. And that is how he got his name Kabir. But the story is, although Kabir himself was an enlightened soul, he was himself a very special soul, he had a very strong yearning to have Sant Ramanand as his guru. Ramanand was a very devout Vaishnava and a very great devotee of Rama, actually. Kabir, he was a purified soul, but he had so much longing for a guru. So he goes to Ramanand, and Ramanand said, unfortunately, see, in those days, there were a lot of rules for everybody. Schools had rules, teachers had rules, students had rules. So Ramanand says, unfortunately, I only accept Vaishnavas. That is, my school will accept only Vaishnava. You are not a Vaishnava. I cannot accept you as a student. But Kabir is not the person who will just give up, because he is a divine soul. So there is a lot of leela going on here. So it says that Kabir creates a plan. And so this Ramanand Guruji, he habitually goes to take a bath in one part of Ganga. So, in olden times, you can approach a river through, we call it a ghat. Like there are steps that you have to climb down to go, right? So Kabir knows where that guru goes. So Kabir just goes and he lies down in one of the steps, So he has a plan. So that day the guru is coming, he wants to enter the water. He doesn't see Kabir and he stumbles and he trips on Kabir's body. And he mutters, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And Kabir says, yes, I got the mantra. That is the guru mantra. And then Kabir takes that mantra and with a lot of faith and devotion, he chants that mantra, and it says that it actually helped him get elevated and all of that. And then eventually Ramananda finds out about this, and he's so touched and moved by this faith, dedication, conviction that he accepts him as a student. So that's the story. What is it highlighting? First of all, it is highlighting the importance of having a guru for your spiritual journey, even if you are an elevated soul. And you need the faith, humility, faith, and consistency. And so that shows that consistent practice with humility and faith will help you get to your goals. The other lesson to learn is also that the importance of being humble and without any pride, especially in front of the guru. The Kabir had the humility to seek the guru. Kabir had the humility to lie down on the floor when the guru is walking. See? And these are all kind of, I would say, symbolic way for great souls to explain how humanity should behave and how humanity can progress. So it was a short shloka. Let's go to the next shloka. Shloka 41. Tasmins tat jane Veda bhavat.
Veda bhava.
It means there is no sense of difference between guru who is a devotee of God and God. So a true saint or guru is someone who has understood that their true self is not their physical body, but their higher self. And that higher self is a tiny spark of the Supreme. Now, because that person understands that they are not the body, but they are a tiny spark of the Supreme, because they understand that, they become a representative of that Supreme energy. It's very simple. Even in material terms, we have clubs and societies and political parties, correct? Now, if you accept whole and soul that a particular leader is your leader, then you become a bona fide representative of that party, correct? That is the only requirement. And that is the main requirement, just like that. When the guru accepts and acknowledges that I am not this body, I am actually a tiny spark of that Supreme, then I become a bona fide representative of that Supreme. The same holds true for you also, each one of you. So tomorrow, if you are teaching something to somebody, spiritual knowledge, the prerequisite is you have that mindset that you are not the body. You are just a tiny spark of the Supreme. And that makes you a bona fide representative. You don't have to be born as a Vaishnava or a Shaiva, or, you don't need a certificate from somebody. You need a certain mindset to make you qualified. So that is why they say when a student meets such a guru, a natural sense of affection and respect will come in the heart. And whenever the scriptures say serve the guru, what they're actually saying is recognize that the guru is a representative of that absolute power that you are reaching, you are seeking. So serve that absolute power through the representative and ready yourself for the grand encounter with the Supreme. That is the message. So there is a saying in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna says, the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart. And I am always in the heart of my pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me. And I do not know anything else but my devotee. Such a loving, wonderful saying coming from Krishna. The same thing Narad Ji is saying, he is using different words. He is saying, both God and Guru are alike. And so we reach God through Guru. See, that is the real meaning of the Guru mantra. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. The true meaning is that, which says that the Guru is Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Although we are expressing our respect to our Guru, we are actually praising the Lord. Because it is the Lord who has agreed to put this Guru in front of us. And so we are appreciating and praising the Lord through that form. That is the whole Tatparya. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written, considering that the spiritual master imparts transcendental knowledge for spiritual progress and enlightenment, one should look at them like they look at God. Those who hold on to their material attachment to the Guru and see only an ordinary person in the Guru, they will be disappointed, because their pursuit of knowledge and enlightenment will be as futile as an elephant's bath. It's a very funny analogy. So they are saying, if we are seeking spiritual progress and growth through a Guru, then that is possible only when we approach the Guru the right way. Because otherwise, that whole endeavor is going to be futile. And they are saying it is going to be futile like the elephant's bath. So, do you know what is the funny part of an elephant's bath? So it is said that an elephant spends a lot of time in the river sprinkling itself with water. And then once it goes to the bank, it goes and sprinkles dust on itself, mud and dust on itself. So what is the whole point? Correct? So Narad Ji and Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, they are all saying the same thing. So if we are going to, so you go, you try to get some knowledge, but then you don't have the right bhava, you don't have the right approach. So it's going to be futile. Like the elephant did not really benefit from the bath, just like that you're not going to benefit from that spiritual knowledge. So we have to understand, Narad Ji is saying the Guru is divine because, why does he say the Guru is divine? Because the divine power is acting through the Guru. That is the reason. So when we say Guru, we are not supposed to focus on the physical aspect. This is something I spoke about right at the beginning of the Bhakti Sutra, on what are the prerequisites. That is all for you, so that you are able to benefit from this knowledge. So that is something we have to always keep in mind. And we also discussed earlier that when we say treat the Guru with respect, treat the Guru with reverence, we are not trying to pump up the Guru's ego. That is not the point at all. We are doing that to purify and prepare ourselves to receive the grace of God. See, it is just like you're standing in front of a stone, a statue, and you have all this reverence. You are willing to fall at its feet, you are willing to roll on the floor. Does it make any difference to a piece of stone? You are not doing it for the stone. You are doing it for yourself. Because when you are in that bhava, it is purifying you. It is making you ready for something bigger. The same concept when they say treat the Guru a certain way is so that it transforms you. So that is something we have to internalize. And Narad Ji also says that all that stands between us and God is our pride and ego. Because as long as you cannot have your pride and ego under control, you cannot even treat a Guru as a Guru. And that is the litmus test. Like you can ask yourself, what kind of resistance I have, what kind of feelings I have. And that is the litmus test. And then that helps you get rid of that ego and pride. And when that happens, you receive God's grace. So Narad Ji is also saying the same thing. He is saying, you are here, God's grace is here. And pride and ego is in the middle. And there is this entire process on how to handle that pride and ego. Just take care of the process, pride and ego goes away, the grace comes to you. Simple. When I was a child, it used to be a very favorite joke. Like a child will come and say, how do you put an elephant inside a matchbox? And everybody is raking their brains, and then finally the child says, I'll give you the answer. Very simple. Open the matchbox, put the elephant in, close the matchbox. So that is how Narad Ji is simplifying everything. He's saying, you are here, grace is there, something is in the middle, just take care of the middle, the grace will come to you. So let's go to the final shloka for today. I'm taking these many shlokas because they complete a important section. It is one logical grouping. So let us do shloka 42. Tadeva sadhyatam.
Tadeva sadhyatam.
Tadeva sadhyatam.
Tadeva sadhyatam.
That alone is to be achieved. That alone is to be achieved. What is to be achieved? That association of a Guru under whose guidance you can perform your sadhana. The term that mentioned in this shloka refers to the renunciation and loving service outlined in shlokas 35 to 37, as well as the grace of a Guru and God that inevitably follows. As we said, divine grace is already within us. By fully surrendering ourselves to the divine and the Guru, we can allow it to guide us to our natural state of union. The beautiful concept in Vedanta is you are not trying to achieve union. Union is your birthright. That is your natural state. You have just forgotten. You are just not able to see it because of all the illusions and ego and pride and all of that. So Vedanta always emphasizes that you are already in unison with God. You already have God's grace. You just have to have the purity to acknowledge and perceive it. And that is all we are doing. We are not trying to get to grace. We are just trying to get rid of the things in between. So many times you will see ego, pride keeps coming up. In Bhagavad Gita, in Narad Bhakti Sutra, in many other scriptures, again and again and again. See, in today's world, there are many virtual gurus. They may take some donation, they may chant some mantra in your ears, and then they are gone. For the rest of their lives, there is no close associations between student and guru. They think they will just watch a YouTube video or they will look at a photo. Narad Ji is not talking about such a relationship. Narad Ji is talking about a close association of a guru who is very well aware of our strengths and weaknesses, and who we should or we are able to treat with humility and respect. Because when we are in such an environment of close association, then spiritual evolution happens. See, it is not a matter of entitlement that I belong to a club. People proudly say, oh, I'm part of this particular. It's good. There is nothing wrong in that. But that is not really helping you, because God doesn't say that you have to belong to this particular club to get my grace. That is not the requirement. The requirement is you have to prepare yourself and you have to follow the process and you have to progress on the process. Is a club membership going to help you achieve that? If you think so, go ahead. But Narad Ji says that's not going to help. So all this watching a YouTube, listening to podcasts, they're all like, okay, I mean, they will give you some knowledge, but they're not going to help with the transformation. That transformation requires the energy field. That transformation requires a close association. That is why in olden days, we had this concept of Gurukula, where there will be a guru and the Shishya will be living with the guru. That was the whole idea. Then the transformation happens. See, we have to see that even Sri Krishna himself, he was an incarnation of God himself, Krishna. Even he sought a guru, Sandipani Muni. He accepted Sandipani Muni as a guru. Of course, he was also the best student Sandipani ever had. It is said that Sandipani Guru was so astounded by this student. So the story says that the Bhagavatam says that Sri Krishna learned 64 sciences in 64 days. In every one day, he would learn one entire science. Yeah, but the point is, even Krishna sought a guru. Now, as you may know, Sudama was Krishna's classmate in the same Gurukula, right? And so he asks Krishna once, he says, Krishna, why do you need a guru? All the Vedas have come from you, because Sudama acknowledges the divinity of Krishna. Sudama knows Krishna is God's incarnation. So Sudama is asking, all the Vedas have come from you. All the source of knowledge have come from you. Why do you need a guru? Looks like this is also one of your leelas. And Krishna smiles, laughs and says, well, you understood. Basically Krishna wants to lead by example. That is what Krishna has done throughout his life. Whenever he wants to teach humanity something, he will do it himself and lead by example. So he wants to show humanity the importance of seeking a guru. No matter how big you think you are, no matter how enlightened you are, no matter how smart you think you are, you need the humility to seek a guru, because that prepares you for divine grace. It is not the guru who is magically blowing divine grace into you. It is how you approach a guru that prepares you. That is the secret. Similarly, Lord Sri Rama also did the same thing. Sri Ram, he is also incarnation of God. And he accepted Vasishtha Muni as his guru. What was the need? Because Rama knew he was avatar. Rama knew he had a divine purpose on earth. Still he goes and accepts Vasishtha Muni as a guru. Now in Ramcharitamanas it is written, Jaki sahaj swasa shruti chari, so haripadiya kutuka bahari. The 4 Vedas are verily written, or the 4 Vedas are the breath of the Lord Ram. And still he seeks a guru under whom he studied. This is just his leela to stress upon the significance of a guru. So Lord Rama said, has done the same thing. So, as previously mentioned, a person who desires God's love seeks out a guru to guide them on the spiritual path. The key for the seeker is to cultivate a longing for God. Shankaracharya emphasizes that even if this longing for liberation is initially weak, it can be intensified by the association and grace of a guru. And in that association, we have to practice the virtues of humility and detachment. That is the whole idea behind that kind of an association. And if we have a strong enough longing for a guru, strong enough longing for God's grace, and if we are humble and Anybody can fill in the blanks. There is one more thing remaining, and one very important thing.
Faith.
Consistent. Consistency.
Yes, faith and consistency. I have faith today, but tomorrow storm comes, my faith goes away. Day after tomorrow, I'm comfortable, my faith comes back. That's not going to work. Consistency. Today I feel good about the Guru, but tomorrow I have some ego issues. Day after tomorrow, I don't think he looks cool enough. These things are not going to help. Consistency. So that is what Shankaracharya has also said. But the good news is, although they're asking us to do a few key things, the good news is everybody has guaranteed that it will result in divine grace of God. There is no doubt about that. It is a law of the universe. So you do ABC and the grace has to come. So I hope that helps. With that, I think we can open the floor for any suggestions, questions. I'll stop the recording if you want. Poonamji, I think, wait, I'll stop the recording.